Hey guys, Tim here with Comic Evolution. It is a cold Wednesday afternoon, and I am here at my comic book booth at One More Time Thrift and Consignment here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. What I want to do is I want to take you in there, show you around, show you what I have there, and kind of go over how I got it, why I'm doing it, and what's coming for the future. And also, this is going to be a two-parter. I'm doing mine first, and Wes is going to do his comic book booth in the near future. So stick around and check it out right here on Comic Evolution. All right, so we are going to go inside to the comic book booth. The address and everything is going to be right down below so you can take a peek at it. But take a look here, guys. Right off the bat, when you come in the door, we've got the magic cards that I have available. And one of the vendors here was kind enough to let me use a portion of their little spinny rack thing. So, there you go. Some neat stuff that you guys might be interested in, or anybody is interested in for that matter, in that right there, Soulstone. Absolutely cool. Alright, let's take a walk back and see what my booth looks like. So in the back here, you come right here to my booth. And this gives you a pretty good idea of what I've got. I've got this whole section here, all the way down to the end of the shelves where Captain Marvel guards my stuff. We start off with the magic cards, Pokemon cards. I don't have a whole lot of those, but I am working on getting more. And then all these magic cards, if you watched the Volunteer Valley Comic Con video that we did way back at the beginning of the channel, you'll see where I got all these cards from. And that's what's left of it. I've accumulated about half of all of this since then. And there's a lot of Lord of the Rings, Edge of Eternities, and the new Spider-Man set that's out right now too. But let's go ahead and move around. So we start here. We've got our higher dollar books in this box. All kinds of different stuff. And I've got all this stuff priced to move. I want to get it in your hands and get it out of mine, so that way you guys can have some cool stuff. That's actually got a signature on it. Let's see, right there, yep. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And what I did, see, that was another one with a signature. I found that at McKay's for, I think, $3. But what I did was I took a lot of my collection. That's what a large portion of this is. And I went through and made sure that I got rid of the stuff that I absolutely did not want anymore. Because originally, after I lost my first collection, I was getting a lot of stuff to just pad. So it was quantity over quality. And I have now broken that down to quality over quantity. And see, these are all the $3 books. Stuff like that. And like I said, ooh, very good one right there. And like I said, priced to move, not priced for me to make a ton of money. New Mutants, great stuff. Marvel Tales, this is the reprinting of ASM 129, first appearance of the Punisher, and that is a beautiful Mike Zeck cover. And there's another one, True Believers for Marvel Knights, first appearance of the Punisher. Zero War Fortnite, as my son says, $19 Fortnite card. There we go. We did some Halloween covers for that. Mad Balls. Yeah, I got this out of a collection I bought not too long ago. All kinds of cool stuff. Neat stuff for you guys to take a peek at. First cameo with King Shark. So on and so forth. I love that. The Hildebrandt brothers. Very cool. And then we have got $2 books. A lot of this is $2 stuff. And I run sales and all that all the time here. So that way these books can move. Get them out of here. So you guys can have them. Yeah, and I've even got those cool Alex Ross covers too. Right? Annihilus. Absolutely great. Collected editions here. These do pretty well. For the most part, they're slow movers. But I like them, and the people that have bought them think they're pretty neat. What's this? This big one here. Oh yeah, the full run of Justice. And then we move on to the regular stuff, right? Oh yeah, got some nice little side stuff there. And then these are the priced as marked from $1 on up for the different titles that I have. And I update this 3 times a week, as often as I can. We got a dollar box here. Oh yeah, we got some records too. And then we've got more dollar stuff down here. And I brought that box to put those books in. And then underneath that is the inventory I'm putting in today. But here we have our trades. Again, these move kind of slow, but they move and I like it. And other people seem to enjoy it too. If you remember the omnibus video that I did, this is what's left of that. And those have done really well. These two seem to want to stay here though. They're good to look at. Then we got some odds and ends stuff, some different books. Stuff up top, right? My son's selling his Funko Pez dispensers. I got 2 Funko Pops there. Popcorn buckets. Take a look at that Castle Grayskull. Super cool. Graded books for your enjoyment. And me and my son pick 2 books per week to showcase here. And it can be anything from the booth, and I let him pick it so he can put it out what he thinks is cool and people should check out. Got the card packs here, individual cards, those G.I. Joe digest books back there. The Last Ronin full run, G.I. Joe and Deathmate, even got the cool Comic Evolution business cards, thank you S. All that stuff, right? Yeah, some CGC books laying there. And then there's this. I had to put this up here because some unfortunate individuals, 1 or 2, were changing things out, and I'd find the end result of that in the dollar boxes. So somebody changed a $10 book for a dollar book, and that's part of the price of doing business, right? You got people that do that, but now I have to put that up there so that way there is a reminder that they are on camera. But that box right there, Mark Brooks, sign that box. Super cool. And then obviously Captain Marvel, guards over everything. But yeah, this is my booth here. Super cool, super awesome. I love it. Everybody here at the thrift store is amazing. They are super warm and welcoming, and I love coming here and doing all this stuff. All right, so I'm going to get some of this stuff updated, then we'll go over it one more time, and then I'll catch you back at home where I will tell you a little bit more about what I do here. Enjoy that. Okay, so I am back at home after updating the booth, putting all that new inventory in there, and I wanted to go over with you how I got it, what I plan to do with it, and what I plan to do in the future. So, a gentleman had his comic book booth there before I did. He was there for quite a while, and he got an opportunity to move on to do other things, and that space became available. I ended up talking to Tasha and Sarge first, and then talked to Michelle, who is the owner, about eventually taking that space. We worked something pretty awesome out, and I got it. So that whole thing from the white shelving all the way over is mine, and I got all that stuff there that you saw earlier. And there's talks about me expanding that in the future, which I'd like to do, right? And that goes into things I want to do with the booth in the future. But I started about halfway through July. That turned out really good. August turned out pretty great, and September turned out really good too. October was a slower month because we had the government shutdown and all that stuff. So everybody's kind of holding on to their shiny pennies and their nickels and stuff like that. But November is turning out to be pretty good so far. There's ups and downs, right? As with any side business that you try and do. This definitely has that, but the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. So I'll go into the negatives first, right? The only negative that I have, and it has nothing to do with the location, has nothing to do with the people that that run it. So Michelle and Tasha and Sarge who work there and have their own booths there, and everybody else. The only negative I have is the people that change the price stickers out and that swap books or just outright steal stuff. That drives me bonkers. Right, I am trying to do this like everybody else is. I'm trying to make a couple extra dollars so I can continue to get the things that I enjoy. I can spend some extra money on my kids and myself, right? And the people that take things drive me nuts, and I very much dislike that. So that is the only negative that I have with this, and I think that goes for anybody that do stuff like this. So the positives, there's quite a few. I get to talk to some really cool people, some customers that come in, and I've got to know a lot of them on a personal basis. And some of them I see, like they come in on regular times, and they're usually there when I'm in there, and I spend about an hour, hour and a half just going over everything, making sure everything looks good, talking to people. And when new customers come in, I get to talk to them. I love to talk, right? And I love to talk to new people and get to know them and find out what they like, what they don't like, and just shoot the proverbial BS about comics and cards and life and all that stuff. That's what I enjoy the most. I love, love, love taken all of this stuff that I have gotten since starting the booth and putting it in there. And I think I've got a pretty good idea of like what people are liking and what they're not liking. Like here's an example, right? I'm already working on pricing these. So Wes went not too long ago, just recently, as a matter of fact, to a gentleman that he gets things from, and Wes was kind enough to pick up some things for me, and those are the Erie and Vampirella books, right? The horror magazines and things like that. I only had a couple of those at my booth the very first month I was there, and they flew. Like they were gone very quickly. So I've got some new ones that I'm going to put up there. And see, I'm pricing these things to get them the heck out of there. I want you guys to have them. I'm not trying to make oodles and oodles of cash. That would be nice, but that's not what I'm trying to do, right? But I mean, this one's a little bit different. But look at this type of stuff. People love this stuff, and this is all going into the booth probably Saturday. So the day this video comes out, right? I'll be putting all this stuff up there. I got action figures that people have been asking for. Records, you saw that there. A lot of people are asking for those. That's there, and obviously the comic books and other things like that. So my plans with this is to maintain to keep up with the inventory, the magic cards and all that stuff, and to bring in the things that I think people are interested in, right? And to try and get those things into their hands. It can be a challenge sometimes because interests change and you get a lot of different ones. And I try and keep up with all of it, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult. I have to put in what I have, right? But beyond that, my plans for it for the future are I definitely want to expand. I'm starting to run out of room with what I have, and that's a good problem. And I definitely want to expand it all the way to that back wall, which has been made available to me if I want it. I'm going to wait for the rest of the year to play out to kind of get a good idea of how 6 months worth of business at the booth goes before I make the final decision on expanding that. Because if I expand, I got to make sure that number one, I can pay the booth rent, and the percentage that they take. And number two, I got to make profit, right? It's got to be worthwhile and beneficial for me to expand the booth to twice its size, and then I've got to be able to pull that type of revenue in return. And if I can't justify that, then I'm very happy with sticking with the way that it is. But I really would love to expand and make it that whole section a larger section. As far as the thrift store itself goes, it is off the main road, but word of mouth with number one, just the thrift store itself, how cool it is and how nice everybody is. That in itself does a lot of the advertising, word of mouth. And then the people that were coming there before when the other gentleman had his booth, and then the new customers that have come in and have discovered the things that I have. That works really well to keep recurring customers and to keep inventory going out so that way I can put more in, right? Yeah. So all in all, this was a first experience for me to sell my own stuff at a thrift store. Now, Wes and I do the conventions every year, right? I've done that plenty of times. I'm pretty good at that. And plus I've worked at a comic book store before and I've done customer service nearly my entire working career. So none of that is new, but doing the thrift store and through a hefty encouragement and push from Wes is the reason why I have that today, right? So Wes, thank you very much. But yeah, I want to keep it. I want to expand it. I want to keep the prices very reasonable so people can come in and like a lot of the stuff that I have is $1 to $3. So that's the majority. That's the bulk of my stuff. And then there's those higher dollar things and all of that. But the bulk is the 1 to 3, and that stuff goes pretty consistently. So yeah, there you go. There's my experience as a comic book vendor at a thrift store. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please hit the like, share, and subscribe right here on YouTube. We are loving every minute of this, doing this type of content for you guys, and we can't wait to do more. There's a ton of stuff in the pipeline that you guys will really enjoy in the future. And if we hit 500 subscribers, we're going to do another giveaway. Also, don't forget to find us on Facebook. That information is right down below so you can tell those kids to get off your lawn so you can read your comic books that you bought at a thrift store in peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tim. This beautiful man that's not here is Superman right there. And this is Comic Evolution, and we will see you next time.